29 years ago, on a day much like this one,
Passing in the halls between AM and PM kindergarten, the mighty Chris Sanders entered our lives.
for those of you who don't know us, we are fellow Westchesterians and Chris's ride or dies.
Woo!
I am Brian Ernst.
Devin Pope. Chris, like ourselves, is a big movie guy.
And as many of you would know, we attempted our hand at making several over the years. Steve, you were there.
We also made Aaron and Megan listen to us start a band. But we digress.
We have enough material for a trilogy, but Alyssa said to keep it to a tight hour 45 minutes. So we will oblige.
Our version of this Cassandra's whimsy comes in 3 acts. Act 1, sleepovers. The best way to try and watch some of these movies was to try and pack our childhood weekends with all-nighters.
But our little Chris never made it to dawn. He got tuckered out real quick.
This is when we would start putting M&Ms in his ears.
We then graduated to stuffing his shoes with so much Kleenex he thought he grew overnight.
Linda, this is our official apology for making you pay for unnecessary new shoes.
And until I put this next one in writing, Kevin was ready to take the story to his grave.
Brian had the bright idea of riling up one of the Cassandra's cats with a laser pointer.
I admit, making it jump over Chris's sleeping body was extremely amusing. But then I pointed it at the wall down the hall.
This cat just took off.
Full speed, at the wall, boom!
Silence.
Panic. No movement.
What did you do?
I don't know. The 30-second approach that we had to that cat was the longest walk of my life. And then it got up and ran away and everything was fine. So, thank you. All right.
Act 2, baseball. Chris is someone you want on your team, no matter the situation. Speaking of teams, this is how we became very close. Westchester Little League Baseball. It seemed like every year we were on the same team. Our dads would coach together. It was some of our greatest memories. Our best team, you might have heard of us, was the 2002 Westchester Oakland A's. We went 23-2 that year. But the most impressive thing of that year happened in a practice before a game. We're taking infield practice. Chris is at first base. His dad's hitting ground balls. My dad's catching. He hits one to our shortstop, Percy, who is the hardest thrower in the league. This kid is 12 years old, throwing like 90. Chris is at first base. Percy gets a ground ball, fires it over to first base, hits Chris square in the forehead. Square in the head. Didn't even touch the glove. We were all in shock. It didn't even faze Chris, though, so infield practice continued. Next play, Mr. Cassanders hits another ground ball to shortstop. Again, Chris takes the baseball straight to the temple. Our laughter at this point turns to concern. My dad goes, "Gary, Chris just took 2 to the head." Mr. Sanders goes, "Chris, you okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay." Not 15 seconds later, Chris is stumbling to the side. "I'm not okay." Just went and sat down for a few minutes. But he went like 2 for 4 that day with a double RBI. So, Alyssa, if it seems like Chris never comes off as stubborn, it's literally because he's hard-headed. It's a good thing.
Finally, Act 3, a run-in with law enforcement. When I was in film school, I would rope in a lot of people in this room to either be actors or help out in some way. I had to make a short film for some class, and won't bore you with the details because it was terrible, but I will set the scene. The particular scene that we needed to shoot involved an actor playing a detective who needed to aggressively interrogate a child over some missing Legos. Classic cinema. Chris, Kevin, a bunch of crew from my class, Steve, you were there. We all take a camera and actors and head to the Westchester Park District at night in the rain. We yell action. The detective takes a child by the shirt, begins shaking him, throws him on top of an electrical box and starts screaming in his face. Cut! It's perfect. Little did we know a lone employee innocently doing her job inside the park district does not see the cameras rolling, looks through the frosty window and only makes out an adult beating up and yelling a child with more grown adults clapping and cheering him on. That's a wrap. We all walk to our cars, and in the parking lot, I swear to you, 6 squad cars. Lights and sirens blaring. After a few tense moments, the charisma machine that is Chris Commanders makes his way through the crowd and says, "I'll handle this." Chris makes one call to his dad, the director of said park district, and the cops just disappear. But it is then I need to return home and make the most embarrassing, apologetic phone call to Gary I've ever made. "I'm sorry, I was so stupid, I should have had permission, I didn't mean to bring this on. I'm so sorry, thanks for your help." But if I ever do find myself in jail, I know there is one phone call that I will make, and who it will be.
Like I said, Chris is someone you always want on your team. He was always on my team. When I wrecked my car and needed rides to the college in Page, there he was with a full tank of gas, a back seat full of discounted GNC protein tubs, ready to give me a ride whenever I asked.
He's someone who will literally give you the shirt off his back.
Just as I would give him my spare shorts at a trampoline park. True story.
This guy calls me out of the blue to check in on my parents.
He came to my wedding at his most trying time.
And Alyssa, we want you to know this guy watches you leave the room and tells us, quote, "I love that woman."
It seems you both have great taste and a lifetime of tales to create yourselves. So before the credits roll, let's raise a glass.
And thank Chris and Alyssa for letting us borrow 2 little stuntmen for our next movie.
Wait, you gotta go get love, man. That's what you get for doing the toast.